Hello and welcome to another exciting episode of the Full Spectrum D&D podcast. My name is Trey.
I am Rungren.
And we're back into the swing of it now. I didn't mess the intro up. We got going right away.
Yeah.
And I could have just not called it out and everything would have been great. But,
No, that's fine because we did. Last week we derailed a little bit. I just kind of ranted, which kind of need a little bit. I needed it anyway.
I rolled a 20 on my derail.
You did. Yeah, it was great. I do that. Worked out just fine. But for that one person that actually keeps up with us, we're going to get back onto the world building.
Mm-hmm.
We got a little bit into it. About a month ago,
yeah,
now, right?
The very last podcast before I got COVID.
Yeah, and had put a few things into it. So I guess kind of going to run over a refresher of that.
I think that's a very good idea.
So
give everybody a heads up on where we are, and especially for those that maybe are finding this right now and don't know, we're making a world that is open source for anybody can use.
Absolutely.
And it is using the essentials rules. It's using the basic rules, basic classes, basic subclasses. If you're a new DM and you just want a pre-made world, this is absolutely something you can use. Or if you've been playing for a long time and you go, hey, DM, instead of having to make the next world, you could take a break. You could just use this world these guys have made.
Yes.
However you want to use it. Steal any of these ideas.
And we're making it to go along with the free rules.
Mm-hmm.
But for that reason, so you can dip your toe into D&D with a world kind of pre-made. You don't have to think too much about it. You can kind of take it and go, and it can go a lot of different directions.
Oh yeah,
and you don't take all, part, or none. We don't care. This is why we're doing it. So to spark ideas and to get people into the game.
And that's not to say that you can't take anything else, like all the other books, and throw it in here too. In this world, you can add all that to it. It's easy to do.
It is. So yeah, and I think we're kind of keeping that in mind too, because you can go. Because I think we run a 6th level.
Yeah.
Kind of with this, you give you enough information to have a small, good little campaign.
Yeah.
You should wrap up around 6th level, and then if you're like, you know what, I think I want to spend money on D&D. It's easy to go, hey, well, I'm just going to go ahead and pick up the rest of the player's handbook.
Yeah. And
now you got up to level 20.
Right.
It changes things a little bit. But as a review, so for naming things, we're not overthinking it. What we picked out 3 different languages: Cornish, Icelandic, and Finnish.
Mm-hmm.
So as we come across and talk about what we're doing with the characters, places, or the things in this world, if we need a name for it, that's where we're pulling from.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you're like me, like especially if you like in a game, I get to create a character, like a video game or D&D. Like sometimes just naming the thing, that's like takes the longest.
Hours.
So we've kind of we've limited ourselves on that, and said we've taken that burden off our shoulders, I guess.
Right.
Maybe we've got a place to start with that. And from that, we actually have the name of this plane, this world. Mm-hmm. And it's named Tasso, Taso. And the history of it is there's actually 3 brothers.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the two of the brothers are dead, and that's what this plane is made out of.
Yep, the 2 brothers back to back.
Okay, yes, exactly. Now we have the creatures, people, and places, or people on in this plane don't know. To them, everything's always been this big, but there's another world kind of outside this, and one of the characters in this who's inside the plane is known as the Lost God, but is one of the surviving brothers of the 2 brothers.
Yeah, right.
Is named Manatees. The brother who died that makes the upper level. Mm-hmm. Help me out here if I'm not explaining it well.
Yeah, it's tough to grasp when you're just looking at it from like a 2D perspective, right? But it's a 3D plane, and so the 2 brothers died back to back.
Yeah,
and so where their bodies fell became the land.
Yes,
and the upper half of that, one of the brothers is Ylimpi.
Yes.
And the other half is Undir.
Yes.
And so, their ribs became the mountains, their stomachs became the sea,
And there's the creatures are living there. Now, unbeknownst to the creatures living there, the Manatees, the lost, the only way he can have the chance of bringing his brothers back, eventually, is through life force.
Yes.
So the creatures in here, what maybe they talk about the end or end times or anything. What that's going to be is the brothers actually coming back. I know this does
basically consuming them to be able to return to life. Yeah.
Once they hit a peak, but there's issues in there. So
of course the people don't believe that's how it's going to happen.
So the world we're creating, the one you're playing on, is the one in this that's kind of in this or in this plane.
Yeah.
Held where this one brother is desperately trying to bring his two other brothers back to help him fight. But the people in there were the dwarves, the elves, all the basic rules. Yeah. They don't know.
Because they've had to make their own cultures. They've had to develop with their own series of beliefs. And so you have the people of Ylimpi that believe that the lost god, the third brother, was not able to save Ylimpi, the brother.
Right.
And Undir was the one who betrayed him.
Yeah.
And then you have the other way around where the people of Undir believe that both of the other brothers were against their god, Undir. Right. Yeah. And then the lost god left.
Right.
Because he wasn't able to succeed.
So, so the theologies and mythologies on in Tasso are all wrong.
Right.
But they're going to hold him tight. I was trying to think of another, other media where I could take one. And actually, there's to get a little bit biblical. The 1,000 years into a day. Yeah, it's like kind of think about that in this situation where for one day for Menetes on the outside it's going to be like 1,000 years. In this plane.
Absolutely.
So, a little bit of time differential there. And like I said, you play 3, 1 through 6, you can take it up to 20.
Yeah. And if that sounds way too confusing, especially if you're like a new DM that's like, man, I don't have any idea how to work in these 3 gods. Yeah. You don't have to.
Yeah.
Campaign 1 to 6, you don't have to work in gods at all.
At all.
You could just have it, well, this is the land. You have the upper land and the lower land.
In fact, everything we just said is for the DM.
Right.
So you take it, do what you want to. You can actually cut all that out, and you still have Tasso, these 2 lands with the beliefs and everything going together. So that's probably not something you'd actually put out to your players at first.
Yeah, they need to find that out through play.
Yeah,
they need to find that out from the old druid. That is druid in basic rules? I can't remember. We'll say wizard instead.
Wizard.
The old
it's
wizard.
Fighter, wizard, rogue.
Yeah, fighter, wizard, rogue.
Excuse me. Is it bard, cleric, fighter, rogue, wizard?
Okay, yeah. So then they find that out from the old wizard on a mountain that they had to go find. That's like, I have scryed beyond the gate.
Yeah,
I have seen.
Yeah. We're all a bunch of dummies.
Yeah. We're in a marble held in a god's hand.
Yeah. Goofy.
I don't know why I made that old wizard sound like he was super buff.
I don't know. Well, not only that, he's probably be a little bit bitter.
Yeah.
I think the only thing we got through last time, we did get to name the dwarves, as we talked about the Klessin.
Yep.
On Ylimpi.
Mm-hmm.
And the Sidian, which we did. Okay, so we looked through the 3 languages. It was hard to find something.
It very much was.
That fit, and there was lots of different things we were trying to line up. But we took Obsidian and just cut it down to Sidian.
Right.
And the Sidian dwarves live on Undir.
And we said then that the mountains of Undir were made of obsidian.
Yes. So I think we talked about the armor. What they see it as on that for Ylimpi was like marble, and then Undir's is obsidian.
Yeah.
Undir's a little more rougher land.
Yeah. Harder to survive on.
Yeah, a harsher land. Like I said, and they have strong beliefs.
Yeah. Maybe some lava down there.
So we have Klessin dwarfs and Sidian dwarfs.
Mm-hmm.
Now, look, this just kind of sets on which side they're on.
Yeah.
You can take this, and we'll kind of explain more about this, because you can take this and go a couple of ways with it.
Mm-hmm.
You can say, okay, if you're a Klessin dwarf under Ylimpi, right, your campaign's going to be a little bit easier.
Right.
If it's good, you can want to raise it, make it a little bit tougher, then you are a Sidian dwarf from Undir.
Yeah.
And that's just one way you could turn it. It's not,
well, and you look at that as the same thing as the man, I almost hate to call it this, but the default D&D world of Forgotten Realms, right?
Yeah.
If you're an orc, not a half orc, if you're a full orc, you're going to have some difficulties. If you're a tiefling, People aren't going to trust you as readily. Much in the same way that if you, in this campaign, or in this world, or in City and Dwarf, hey, you're not going to be as well liked as Klessendorf.
Right. Yeah. Especially if you make your way through the other side.
Yeah.
Careful,
guys, there's a Sid here.
Right. I think we've talked about it before, but also I don't think Wizard of the Coast does a good enough job explaining, hey, for these rules, this is Forgotten Realms.
Right.
When you're reading about how orcs or tieflings are seen, this is Forgotten Realms.
Right. In your own worlds, they're seen very differently.
And it's really sad because, like I said, if you're orc in Forgotten Realms, well, there's two different orcs in Forgotten Realms.
Right, yeah.
And no, they're not really like either way, but one of them's kind of got a sympathetic story a little bit, and the other one does not.
Right.
But derail.
Not a very big roll. We're already back.
Right. So, as we're looking through that, we've got. So what makes? Now, obviously, I think with the problem that Ylimpi, if you're from Ylimpi, you're kind of they're all together, and Undir is kind of like all together,
right?
But there's problems in between the factions, between the and I think it might be something as simple as like the dwarves go, yes, it's true that Ylimpi was betrayed by Undir, and when Menteith's come back, but Ylimpi's obviously a dwarf,
right?
Which the elves would have a problem with. Is like, no, Ylimpi's an elf.
Yeah.
And the humans being like, no,
Yeah. No, absolutely.
And the even the halflings,
I think there's
I don't know why I made the humans sound like, no,
I agree.
We're going to do that. Excuse me, I'm talking. I don't know why I made it sound like the humans.
I think there's such an interesting dynamic there too. Of hey, we may be on opposite sides, but we're still the same race.
Yes.
That will lead to, obviously the humans probably aren't going to care as much, right?
Well, see, I think, at least the weird dynamics, right? Because you've got the dwarves that are like, okay, they've got that right, but their whole view of the hierarchy is wrong.
Right. So we'll trade with them, but maybe we don't invite them into our inner circles, or maybe we don't invite them up for parties,
So in this, as we're kind of building this long, trying to build that idea, we talked about connections between Undir and Ylimpi, and I kind of want to make those special, right? They're not everywhere,
right?
They're limited, So I'm kind of wondering, just as kind of to put it on us, and restrict this one part of it, so we're not just adding them. How many are there?
I think there's just the dwarves to me.
There's just a pathway to the dwarves.
Oh, you mean the pass? I thought you meant the connections for races and stuff.
No,
I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. Because when I'm thinking
English
about
language is interesting.
Huh?
English language.
Well, I'm thinking about the.
Where they connect.
Yeah, where they connect between the top, because that's got to be there has to be a natural separation.
Right.
Obviously, it can't be easily done.
Yeah,
but it is done.
I think there's two.
I
think there's one at the neck and one at the feet. Not beneath the feet, but at the spot where the bodies get thin. Those are the connections. Because as time has passed, they've worn down, What do you think?
Well, I'm not as an actual physical, two connections where this is the tunnel you walk.
Yeah, this is where you can go through. This is the road.
Okay.
It's the only way through are these two spots.
What about the one weapon through?
Oh, that's a good one too. That's a real good one too. Because if we say they both got stabbed through the chest, for instance,
well, see,
there would be another path there.
When I'm picturing it in my head, I picture the two brothers laying back to back.
Yeah,
and I think they were fighting back to back. One of them, and I picture the one in the white armor.
Yeah.
Guarding his brother who's in the civilian armor.
Yeah, behind him.
And as far as lore goes, I picture them as twins.
Yeah.
I really picture them as triplets.
Yeah, I do too.
And that's why I don't know. In Menteith, I almost think it was gray or green for some reason. Anyway, but they were fighting back to back. And then something went through them. So
Ryan,
the handle.
Ryan, I want to do the shield broke, but the man did not so badly right here. Okay. That's an old trope of the shield warden that steps in between to protect his lord, and the shield breaks,
right?
And the spear goes through and still hits his lord anyway.
Yeah.
But they say the shield broke, but the man did not because he dove in between. You know,
right.
I want to do that so bad here.
Well, I think that lines up because these brothers do not hate each other.
Yeah, absolutely.
They died fighting back to back in some kind of in weird way. Like I said, so I picture the handle of this great sword in like above.
Is it still in them then?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I picture it's like this is going to be like a central tower, but on Ylimpi you have the handle, obviously.
Yeah.
And then on the other one you have the point of the blade.
Is that where the lava comes in? The blood that trickled from Undir from the wound became the lava? The crimson flow?
Yeah, it could be.
Oh.
It could. We'll see if they were stabbed like that and the blood went out. The blood went out of.
Well, it would have gone through both of them.
It would have went from Ylimpi down to Undir. So
yeah.
And about that, and before their brothers could get them in. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because it's a much more volcanic, much more harsher.
Oh yeah, that'd be great.
I think so.
So then you could theoretically travel that path as well.
Yeah.
But it would be much more dangerous.
Yes.
Because you're having to go through both of the core parts of their bodies.
Right. So we're going to stick to 3 on actual walking paths, and those walking paths are going to be deadly.
Yeah. I think so. Where the bodies get thin, and then the wound. What did you call it a minute ago? That was a really good name.
I don't remember.
It was something like where the weapon fell or something like that.
I don't know where the weapon went through. I don't
know.
Well, okay. Well, if we do that, and it has the one weapon kind of going through, we got like this mystical tower there. I would think that would. I don't know why I go to this, but I kind of picture the elves congregating around that.
Yeah, for sure. Who gets the mountain on the other side? The volcano.
Well, it would be the under elves, right?
Yeah. The fiery lava tower volcano that was the
gravity
blade.
Line runs straight down their backs, back to back. Yeah, so
it would have to be.
Yeah, so I think I want to keep it balanced like that.
Yeah, I agree.
It's all humans have those two. You know, you have a good energy and a negative energy.
Yeah,
you know, and it's kind of you got to have both to go. So
we got to move the humans then. Because we said originally the humans would be around the stomach.
Yeah.
So the elves would be in the middle, basically like center torso. And then for the dwarves to be in the mountains, they've got to be around the shoulders, chest area. So then those are technically close, but they're separated by the tower distance.
Yeah.
So the humans would be lower body, knees. Or is that going to be where the halflings are?
I don't know. I'm kind of thinking everything like to travel the legs.
Yeah. To
travel, that's like walking the plank into in my mind.
Yeah.
And I was actually kind of thinking the more as you were talking through it. Then I was actually kind of thinking about the humans maybe being like in the skull.
Yeah, that would make sense. Because I got to thinking about it when you just said walking the plank, like walking the legs.
Yeah.
The plane ends after the feet.
Yeah.
So nothing's going to live at the end down there, right? Except monsters and hermits and
something weird down there.
Yeah,
you know, something weird down there. There is a tunnel there that goes through.
Yeah,
we'll plug that in. We'll try to find. I think we'll work on that because we're going to have to work on the NPCs, the challenges on the other side. We're going to fill on the other side so you'll have stuff to throw at your creatures.
Yeah, absolutely.
And
your players, yeah.
Yeah, excuse me, your creatures.
I knew
your
what
players.
you meant.
But there's actually a few different cool ways you can do that.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so we'll kind of fill that in. But I kind of like the idea of being the legs go out into nothingness.
So then, are the halflings at the hands, or are they at the knees? Are they at the waist?
How are the hands?
Oh man, that's a great question. Because when they fell, did the hands fall palm up, or if, like we say, the shield broke but the man did not? Then Ylimpi would still be holding his shield, right? His broken, tattered shield.
Not if he was trying to grab the blade
to stop it. Oh, I love it.
So his hands would still be around the blade.
But then,
as he fell, Undir would have tried to catch them.
Yep, so his hands are out.
Yeah, so his hands would be out as he tried to catch them on the earth.
I love it.
And maybe in the situation where they fell, Under might have tried to carry him out.
Yeah.
Them both out.
I love it.
So he's kind of in a crawling position and then fell.
I love it.
So his hands would be out.
Yeah.
And Ylimpi's hands would be around, kind of at the blade.
Yeah. So then we have to put halflings at the knees. Because it's either knees or waist there.
Well, I think we'll put them in the belly, right?
That would make sense, yeah. They like to eat.
Well, what I'm thinking is if I'm trying to give. Okay, so if we kind of put the humans in the skulls, right, and around that neck area, there's somewhere that goes back and forth.
Maybe the humans took early control of that point between the two.
Right, and they actually have that. And then if we put through the weapon, right? Yeah. The weapon, we have the elves surrounding that area of the chest.
Yeah.
You know, that middle part where the weapon is going in on both sides. Mm-hmm. The dwarf up in the shoulder, upper ribcage area. And it could even go across the neck. Yeah. You know.
Maybe the dwarves early on tried to take hold from the humans of the neck path.
And it was the reason that the humans took it is a narrow path. Yeah. Kind of thing. And so there's a barrier of the dwarves. Then you'd have the elves in this kind of center area of the chest, the heart. Yeah. And I'm sure that.
Of course they're gonna say they have the heart. Right. Yeah.
So down through there, and I think they would actually live up and down.
Yeah, I think so too.
The weapon.
Yeah.
So they may even go up to the hands.
I was gonna say, then if you have the elves as hands on both sides, then you have the Ylimpi elves that have the hands and the tower. Yeah. And you have the Undir elves that have the volcano and the outstretched hands. You know, and that they have claimed those.
So that, and then I think that leaves like a good farming area. Yeah. A good area down through, so you can use the gut for the halflings.
I don't think the halflings are going to be going in between as much as the other races, you know?
I don't think either.
What reason do they really have to?
No, they trade with the elf. Yeah. Maybe that's like part of the treaties that they have on at least maybe the one side. Yeah. It's like, hey, we'll take care of the food. We trade with the elves spit it out. Yeah. The humans keep them coming through the neck. If anything comes up the neck, up the legs, we'll let you know.
How do you feel about, and this is really dumb, and feel free to be like, no, let's give it a cooler sounding name. But how do you feel about the elves, the land at least where they call the heart, right? Where the wound is at? How do you feel about them calling it the Heartlands?
I'm okay with that.
Because I think that's just well, of course, you know, they're going to claim they have the heart. So like.
Yeah. The Heartlands. Elven home is the Heartlands.
I keep focusing on the knees because I want to put something cool in the knees. Okay. But I don't know what yet. If we haven't talked about monsters at all, and we're going to do that at some point. I would really love for at some point to put like goblins in the knees.
Okay, you're talking.
The knee biter clan.
What kobolds?
Or ankle biter clan, I guess. Yeah, kobolds would work too.
The little barking.
Yeah.
Because that would put a dragon at the feet.
Yep.
And what if at the feet, guarding each side, we switch what the traditional dragon would be for the good? Yeah. So you'd have kobolds on the north side, right? Yeah. A garden, and then you would have a red dragon. Yeah. Chromatic dragon, right? At the end there. Now, on the other side, Ylimpi, you'd have a gold or metallic dragon, right? Traditionally gold, maybe silver might work in that. Bronze might be kind of cool just because of the stories.
Yeah, that's true.
The stories.
That's true.
Sorry, that's a little bit of DM lore. D&D lore going into their kind of personalities. You just have to kind of figure something else to put out on the other knee there. Yeah. You know, I don't know, gold kobolds would be fine.
Yeah, you can do that as well, for sure.
On through that because they both go with the dragons, right? Mm-hmm. That's not a bad idea. I kind of like that, and they kind of. Because of the way the knees shape, they use the tunnels. And
that's exactly what I was thinking about. That's why I wanted to put something cool there.
I got you. I
love that idea of, the kneecap being where the base is at, Yeah.
And they kind of hold the path. Mm-hmm. So like the thigh bones, the femurs, would be like no man's land. Yeah. On both sides between the kobolds and the halflings.
Yeah. Dangerous area down there. The barrows.
Yeah. Going through. I don't know. I think we're good. I really wish I was an artist.
Yeah, me too. Me too.
A lot of cool visualizations on this.
Yeah. So, I know we're still discussing placements, but we do still need names for the elves, the humans, and the halflings. Halflings on Undir, what are they gonna... They're not gonna be able to farm the way that the halflings on Ylimpi are. Are they instead tamers? Do they beast tamers and they farm ranch style?
Well, I kind of think about, to kind of rip off Steel a little bit, right?
Yeah.
I'm thinking about in Skyrim.
Yeah.
Okay, like Undir, more like Morrowind.
Yeah.
You know, the desert, the Red Mountain. So I'm thinking that they would still farm, but it's not going to be...
Not the same yields.
Yeah, it's not going to be the same yields. It's not even going to be the same stuff.
Yeah.
You know, the food's going to taste not going to be as tasty.
Right.
And, yeah, it's just the way it kind of went. Put them down through there. Back to back.
It would really be then where the halflings on Ylimpi are making most of the food, like you said, doing most of the trading. That's what keeps them going, is they're able to trade with everybody else. Are the humans self-sufficient or not?
Well, see, here's where it can be tough to keep the balance. What I'm thinking in my head, right?
Right.
Nobody.
It's fully self-sufficient.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because each hold they have is, you know, I don't know. The eyes of Ylimpi hold pure water.
Yeah.
You know. Or maybe that's the only place you can get good water in Undir.
Right.
Is the eyes of Undir, you know. Through that. So there's something that I kind of want to connect across.
Yeah.
You know. So, yeah, not nobody is, at least on the side.
Yeah.
Now, yeah, Ylimpi, we could even tie that up maybe a little bit. We'll find something. Maybe the School's Magic, something, tie the two together. Where one side, they have to work together as a side.
Yeah.
And there's also got to be some kind of back dealing stuff where, well, Undir's got stuff that we need.
Well, and I think the humans are in a great position for that, because if the humans hold both skulls and the neck is right there to be able to travel in between.
That's the shortest tunnel. It
is, and there has to be some kind of alliance of, if the others get too big for their boots and come to take the skull from us, you come up to stop, or we go down.
I think we can do that real easy with you know what, the humans in this world, on this plane, they are responsible for the black market.
Yeah, I agree.
And that's going to get them in really good with a wizard school.
Yep, I agree.
You know, especially if we have one wizard school on top and one on the bottom.
Yeah.
They're going to have to trade through that.
Absolutely.
Because of it.
I just had an idea, Ryan.
All right, man, spit it out.
Wizard schools are at the brain. At the
Okay.
very top of the skull, right next to the sheer drop into the planar abyss. The end of the plane. That's where the wizard schools are at. And they have covered it up, so nobody. That's the restricted portions,
so
right?
if the wizard, let's say that that's actually not a tunnel through. That's actually a portal there from the wizard school to the wizard school.
Yeah.
The humans have a deal with the wizard school.
Yeah.
Now anybody, we wouldn't limit any races or anything. Anybody can go in there. But when you go to the wizard school, it's like, okay, well, if you're going to cast magic, then you're no longer a dwarf.
Yeah.
And that kind of comes from both sides,
right?
Because they got to work together.
Yeah.
I'm liking this.
Well,
so the humans kind of run the black market and have a deal with the wizards to, they will protect y'all through this, and y'all run, as y'all work together.
And if we have any undesirables, or you have any undesirables, black market guy will go kick them off the edge. That's locked behind the
portal.
Restricted sections.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. Ain't no coming back from that.
No.
That is such a good way to get rid of undesirables. You don't exist on this plane anymore, buddy.
I know it's been used before, but it's been like I kind of want to name that. And we may pick up what is Icelandic for nothing?
For nothing. Okay. Let me pull that up.
All right. We'll see if we can figure this out. 'Cause I got an idea on that. I don't want to think about it too long. I don't want to just call it the nothing.
Yeah.
Because the Never-Ending Story.
Right.
First one's great.
Stole it first.
The Never-Ending Story has my the most terrifying scene of any movie.
Yes.
In it. And if you think it's the one where the Sphinx shoots the lasers, no. It is that mirror scene.
Yep.
That messed up my mind as much as the Queen album for Killer Queen with the big robot holding the dead bodies messed up.
Yeah.
She's warped my fat little mind.
So in Icelandic, it is Eckhart.
Okay, can you spell it for me?
Yes. EKKERT.
Okay.
I guess Eckhart.
Okay.
Let me.
Eckhart? I don't know.
It's all here. Hold on. Let me check. I forgot I still had my Headphones plugged in.
All right, we're going to get serious. Find out the thing.
Eckhart.
Eckhart. So what do you think about being given to the Eckhart?
I love it.
Okay. I'm going to write down.
Because it also sounds a little bit like to the occult, and so it's perfect.
Given to the Eckhart.
Oh, there's got to be a religion that worships that thing. They don't even know what it is, but the Eckhart. The like some wizard that went rogue and started going, the end. It ends.
And both of them, and they're on both sides, and they believe the self. Yeah, they are on both sides, but they are allied with it. Yeah, right. It's the same people. Yeah, right. They have the same call. Yeah, and they can't let. So they're going to be in. They would be in the fabric of the community and everything.
Oh, absolutely.
So it's like Hydra, kind of kind of building up, or the spies. The Cold War going through things like that. Yeah. So they're going to be aligned on both sides, and they want everybody to go to the.
Yeah, because that's the true salvation. Is to go off the edge.
So to back this up to the guy outside, could that religion get inserted by the one who stabbed that they're going against revenge for?
Yeah, I think so.
Because if that cult wins, then there's no life force.
Yeah, the brothers will never be.
Yeah, there'd be nothing to raise them.
Yeah, I agree. Whatever they were fighting to begin with, I love it. Yeah,
I do too.
Have I mentioned that my favorite part of world building is when I get to break down like the human psyche or the whatever race psyche? Yeah. Of like, what do they believe? Why do they believe it? Right.
Well, I kind of had it. I had fun with that too. One, I enjoyed like theology and stuff like that. So
absolutely.
That helps. Mm-hmm. Especially when you say some stuff and you got everything to pull from like the Sumerians to Heaven's Gate. The 90s cult. Yeah. All these different ideas that you can kind of pull from and look at. Yeah. You can have a lot of fun with it. And like I said, a lot of the stuff we're talking about, you don't have to tell your players. It's going to be for your DM to keep in mind. Right. And
but it could come up.
And you play through it once, maybe they find some stuff out, and you go, hey, can we play in that world again?
Yeah.
All right, well, now y'all kind of know this. Mm-hmm. How are they related to,
I agree.
So cool.
What is the next step then? We have our location set.
I don't know. We need to
some of our ties.
We've got our two dwarves named, the Klessin and the Sidian. Yeah. I think we need to look at some elf. Yes. How we're going to name our elves.
So I have a couple pulled up here.
Okay.
The Finnish word for elf is tontu.
Tontu.
Tonttu.
Tonttu.
But here's a fun one.
Okay.
They also have sylph, as in like a sprite or the fae. And
I like that for the top one.
Kajikainen.
Ooh.
And I really like just Kainen.
Kainen. I like that for Ylimpi.
Yeah.
The Ylimpi elves. Kainen. So how are we going to spell that?
Kainen.
Kainen. Mm-hmm. And what was the other one?
Tontu.
I like that for the other one.
Yeah,
I think that will cover. Tontto?
TTU.
TTU. Tontu. All kinds of T's.
Yeah.
Kainen. Okay. So, yeah. I dig that. So that would lead to the humans.
Yes. So I have pulled up human in Finnish as well.
Okay.
Which is Imissen.
Is what?
Imissen.
Imissen, okay.
And I'm not sure how I feel about that one yet. But let's see what we've got in Icelandic. Well, that pulled up human rights in Icelandic, which is not what I wanted. Word human in Icelandic is mannlegt. Mannlegt.
Mannlegt?
But also,
yeah.
Maur.
Okay, I kind of like that.
I do too. Maour.
Is that going to be Olympia or Undir?
Well, let me give you the other one that could also mean person, because Maur is human or character.
Okay.
And human or person is Menvera. So I think we could go like Menvera for Ylimpi and Maur for, because it sounds a little harsher.
Yeah.
For Undir.
Okay, give me some spellings on that. I'm going to write that down.
Yeah, so Minerva, or Menvera, I keep wanting to say Minerva.
I understand.
Is Mannvera.
Vera. Okay.
And Maur is Maour. Now it's an O with a little Icelandic dip up above, you know?
Okay, yeah.
That means it's got that extra harsh consonant sound on it.
It's not an umlaut. What is that called?
Yeah, that's I can't remember either. It's the opposite of an umlaut, but yeah. It's Maur.
I like that.
I do too.
And then the halfling.
Yeah. This one might be a little bit harder to get direct translations for. Because I don't think it's a word that is used in a lot of them. But halfling, as in halving, is helmingur in Icelandic. And in Finnish,
Helmingur
is...
Helmingur?
Okay. In Finnish, it is puolitaminen.
Okay. So in Icelandic...
Yeah.
I like that for the under... Now I've got... Okay. And I'll explain why. I think I've got a name for the upper.
Okay.
But could you go back to the that was like halving something?
Yes.
Doing something in half? Okay.
Helmingur.
Helmingur? I like that. You spell that?
Yes. Helmingur.
Gur. Helmingur. Okay. There's a band from Iceland, since we're using something that I love.
Yeah.
Okay. And they've got a video. I think it's called Hupalina. But the band's called Sigur Rós.
Okay.
And the video, this video is amazing. Okay. What they did, now when they sing in, it's not very important, but I'll kind of fill it in.
Why not?
Why not? You know, when they sing in a mix of Icelandic, it's kind of a made up language, right?
Yeah.
It sings in the mix of Icelandic and English.
Okay.
And so he's worried more about like the sounds of the word he uses rather than the word himself. But they've got this video. And apparently there's troop. I don't remember where they're from. I think they might be from Iceland. I think or Finland or something like that.
Right.
But it is a theater group, and everybody in the theater group, they've all got Down syndrome.
Yeah.
And they do this just beautiful video. They're all dressed as angels, dancing around as this just angelic music is playing.
Yeah.
And it's just peace and joy and beautiful. I'm almost crying talking about it now. It's just really emotional. But Sigur. The Sigur halflings on top, Sigur.
I like it.
Okay, because there's, I want somewhere on this plane to have that innocence, and that purity, and and that just that joy. So I think the of all the different races around Tasso, I think the Olympi halflings are probably the ones that go, you know what? For us, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
If he was a halfling, if Olympi's a halfling, or you know,
right?
We make food.
Yeah.
You know, and I want that somewhere, and I think that will fit.
I agree.
So that actually finishes out. That names all.
Names are done.
The names are done for that. Yeah.
Means cultures are next.
Yes.
Unless you want to tackle monsters first.
No, I want to go to cultures because I think what we've done with the names
is going to help.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah.
So, like, we've got the marble dwarves that live around the Klessin.
Yeah.
And, okay, obviously they believe that Ylimpi
was a dwarf.
Yeah, was a dwarf.
Yeah.
But that he was a true and good brother that was betrayed. And that, when the lost god comes back, you know, they'll fix everything, right?
Right.
They'll get it back. So
I wonder if they don't believe, because they're craftsmen, right?
Yes.
If they don't believe that Menides is going to use their skill to be able to help rebuild Ylimpi.
I think so.
Because then you have like I'm going to use this word wrong. It's not aristocracy. It's what the Greeks had with art. It's I'm going to use it wrong. I think it's like an artisophery.
Well, you could go
where it's like, hey, the skill is what's most important.
Well, it's going to be a meritocracy,
right?
But on a are you talking about like an architectural?
Yeah, or architecture, craftsmanship,
masonry level.
Yes, absolutely.
I got you. Yeah.
I think it's artisophery, but
and I think both sides would hold that.
Yeah,
look at it a little bit different, and if they're doing that, yeah, so they would build up through.
Because then you have like I mean, there's a lot of religions that we have now of like earning your way, right? The most useful is the one that'll be chosen.
Yeah.
I think that's a really interesting thing for dwarves to have because they're already a very hardworking race, a very hardy race.
Yeah.
So if then, well, at least the ones that are pious, not all of them are going to be pious, right? But at least the ones that are pious going, well, Menedes going to come back someday. Lost God's going to come back. And when he does, he's going to need me. So I got to prove myself now.
Right.
So he sees that work later.
Right. So, So on Ylimpi then, would the Klessan dwarves have a little bit of contempt for the Sigur halflings?
I think so, yeah, because they're not trying to better themselves.
They farm and cook and
they're too content. How can you be content? The lost god's coming back.
Right. Through that, I'm digging it. I'm seeing it.
I think they would have a weird respect for the humans too, who burn out so quickly, but try to leave their mark on life.
Right.
Because then that's what they're trying to do too. It's just, you burn out so quick.
Yeah, I think so they're trying to keep. Also thinking of the mirror aspect of like both sides have something going on. I think the idea of the humans holding that and actually being able to prevent the dwarves and the time past when they were fighting from getting there.
Yeah.
That their craftsmanship, their battle strategy.
Yeah.
In their idea, because they have that meritocracy, that held them a place for them.
Right.
We outnumbered them, but they had a good position.
Yeah.
Trying to go across the neck,
nothing we could do.
Right. And they held us off.
So do the Sidians then also have that meritocracy? Or do they instead focus on the self? Do we want to play it lateral or do we want to play it divergent? I
think a little bit of both, and this is what I'm thinking. On the Sidian side of it, yes, it's still kind of a meritocracy,
right?
But you get put to work.
Yeah.
Okay.
Prove yourself in the labor.
Yeah.
Instead of prove yourself in the craftsmanship.
Yeah.
Prove yourself in the labor.
Yeah. Obviously, the Klessan dwarf would have a lot more artistic expression. Yeah. You could probably tell if you walk through the Klessan dwarf halls, so to speak. Yeah. It would all obviously fit together. Right. But each, there'd be artistic expression for the Klessan dwarves going through there. If you go through this, in the Sidian halls, it's gonna be uniform.
All done the same way.
All in the same way. It may, in fact, be bigger and more impressive.
Yeah. Because there was no freedom in it.
Right. But it doesn't have the artistic expression. Yeah. And what one side gives up, the other side picks up. Right. So.
I would then say, this is just a quick aside, if you're a DM running in this world and you have a player that is a Klessan dwarf and they roll, say, a history check on some Klessan dwarf workmanship, I would probably give them advantage.
Oh, definitely.
Because they're going to know. They're going to be able to look at that and go, that was made by this dwarf.
Right. Yeah. They would recognize, yes. Yeah. That's what you're saying. Yeah. The handiwork he was known for, she was known for.
Look at these harsh angles and
Yeah. This one.
And then you would then maybe say, hey, if a Sidian dwarf wants to break through a wall, maybe they're going to be better at doing that because that's what they're used to doing. Right. They're going to find the seam in the rock.
Right. And they've been busting obsidian. So busting, if it's something else.
Yeah. What is that?
It's a little bit easier for them. But lots of little, and that's the thing about world building. You're fine. Even if you stop here, turn this off, and go, okay, I'm going to use a couple of their ideas. As you start going down through the layers, and look, your players, some of the stuff they're not going to care about.
Yeah.
You might have one at your table is going to go, hey man, that was really great. I want to learn more about it.
Yeah.
Hey, the next time I play through, I want to be a cleric. Can you tell me more about this and this? So I know for my character.
I want to be a cleric to the lost god.
Yeah. And things like that.
No, I mean, I want to be a cleric.
Yeah, right. Yeah, no. When are we playing?
Right.
I can't run another session.
I mentioned it when we came up with the idea, but just the idea of a cleric that's like, no, he's coming. He'll be here. Don't worry about it. He's going to come back. I believe it. And then he's going to fix all this mess y'all made.
Now, you brought up something earlier we were kind of talking about, and that's who... that's kind of a question that I think will help with our world building.
Yeah.
When I think about it. Who knows the truth?
Right.
Who knows the opposite? Just the dragons at the feet?
I think so. Yeah. I think that at the end of the day, no matter how much everybody thinks they have it figured out, the only ones who know are the ones that were there. And I want like the oldest of the old dragons to have been like a lizard at their feet when it happened,
Yeah.
And then now they have survived and they're the only ones that know. But then who would believe them, even if they told people?
Right.
Well, there's an outside source or an outside foe?
Well, if we keep it to just the two ancient dragons, which I think we can kind of homebrew.
Right.
To avoid any kind of problem there.
Yeah.
For what can be used and can't. And I don't know how we'll get the numbers out to people. Maybe we'll just talk about them.
Yeah.
And give them some ideas a little bit. But go with keep the classic idea what the dragons are, but kind of keep this in mind that the access is to 6th level.
Right.
Right. So, but yeah, I do like that idea. So that it would just be the two dragons at the bottom.
Mm-hmm.
Who.
One good in quotations, one evil in quotations.
And
Bahamut Tiamat, right?
And I think that's where I want to keep the weird balance in this.
I agree.
Because if you stand from the outside and look and don't know anything, you go, okay,
it's clear, yeah.
Yeah, these guys are good, these guys are evil.
Right.
And then I really want, when you get down to it, they're, no matter whatever race you are, they're really just people.
Yeah, I agree.
And they're a mix of good and evil.
I agree.
And they're on both sides. And and if they ever complete their destiny, they're going to be gone, and two brothers will come back to avenge themselves.
Mm-hmm.
God, there's so many places it can go.
Oh, you're right. Can you imagine a campaign that gets to 20th level in this, where they willingly sacrifice everybody,
right?
Just so the brothers can come back?
The brothers come back. Okay. It'd be sick if you had 3 players, and then you're like, okay,
each one of you plays one of the 3
brothers
for this final battle.
Yeah. Well, I wouldn't even go with it. I think you could do it even crazier than that.
Yeah.
The reason why they lost is because they were first level.
Yeah.
Yes, they are super gods to this world. It's really this machine that helped out.
Yeah.
We're way off the main target, but we'll catch up.
Can you imagine a situation where your players, like we said, they get to 20th level, right? Somebody gets a wish, and you allow it, and the wish they use is, I wish to be able to be extra planar. Or I wish the party can be, and then the party can look down on this and go, oh, that's what's going on, and just see it from that. Can you imagine ending a campaign with that? With this world you've been playing this whole time, it's a marble in a god's hand.
So you make the wish, and the first pod opens up.
Yep.
And the 2 brothers come through.
Yep.
And then other ships throughout the galaxy at this time.
There you go.
Yeah, so other pods open up. And then, you have, okay, now we're in this world, make your character.
You're level 1.
You're level 1.
You were level 20 there. Now you're in reality, maybe.
Yeah. And if you have, that would be, even if you went to 6th level and did it right there, they're going to step into this because at 4th level, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and buy the rest of the player's handbook.
Yeah.
But I want to be opened up. Boom, there, your first level in this new world.
Yep.
You have your own, you can start your own mythology.
That's right.
And that everybody this is a new universe. Everybody was birthed from pods except the survivors of the last war.
Yeah.
they're going to carry their story on, but they've been waiting. And there's that.
And then you have those 3 NPCs to be able to use as your guides,
Absolutely.
And Minetti's is the one that's been around for a while, and maybe he's not level 1 anymore. Maybe he's level 5.
Yeah.
He's been out there fighting.
Yeah. Keeping watch, gardening.
And then you could play it as like they needed. Oh, we're way off the beaten path. But you could play it as like they needed people
it's
that
proving what
right.
happens.
Yeah.
And as far as you can go. So
they needed
go
people that would be able to rise to the challenge to be able to fight this threat. Mm-hmm. Oh man.
And if you let's say you hit a job where you're starting to make some money. And you've got this. You run this first little 6 level thing. You get everybody back. Boom. You've got the source books.
Right.
You got all the monsters you will ever need.
Well, because we tried so hard when we came up with this idea to make it small. Right.
Right.
With the intention that anybody that wants to. That's one of the reasons we used a plane.
Yes.
Is that it is just a plane.
Yes.
It's not a demi-plane, but it is just a plane.
Right.
There's 1,000 more of them.
Yeah.
You could just as easily, like you said, pick up the rest of the books or even just the handbook and the monster manual, really.
Oh, my gosh.
And go out from there.
Yes.
Because especially like we talked about the wizards and we talked about the cults. At some point, it's not a stretch to think that somebody makes something that allows them to open a portal to another plane.
Absolutely not.
And then within minutes, you can become a planeswalker and you're going everywhere.
Like I said, like we were saying, though, with just a handbook, and we'll talk about ways to fill this with characters and challenges and monsters and stuff. Different ways where you don't have to have the monsters manual. There's actually other rules for it and other things you can do.
Yeah. I really want to do an episode as part of this on making a monster.
Yeah.
Creating your own homebrew monster.
Yeah.
And how easy it actually is.
Exactly. Because you can get as detailed as you want.
Right.
Or you can get it as this situation needs. Mm-hmm. And the funny thing is, for what we're seeing, you don't have to go to the deep to 6th level.
That's right.
You can make some amazing monsters using some simple ideas, and we'll give your group a challenge. And yes, we will get into that. And I know we kind of rambled on about some other stuff, but that's just kind of the point of how much you will keep going.
Oh yeah, you can make it as shallow or as deep as you want it to be once you get rolling.
Yeah.
If you enjoy this, world building is going to be such a joy for you.
Yeah. And like I said, we're talking about stuff free. And look, I still stand by that. We've talked about stuff before. Go to Don John.
Yep.
And use all the tools there.
Mm-hmm.
If you've got a little bit, buy the man a cup of coffee, or hit the button, buy him some coffee. But go there and use that to fill out areas in your. And just for example, I'm not going to do it, but just for example, right now we're talking about where the wizards are in the skulls, right? Mm-hmm. So we talked about that earlier, where the brains were kind of the wizard.
Yeah.
We make a labyrinth out of that.
Edge.
Right on the edge. Okay, there's a labyrinth to the back door. You go on Don John, you put in a few things. You've got a labyrinth that'll print out for you.
Yeah.
And if you want it, it's stocked.
Yeah.
For you. But if nothing else, you've got you've got a map.
Right. And you can fill it with monsters as you wish or traps.
You want to. Exactly. So I'll sing it until you're sick of hearing it. But
Don John's great.
Don John's great, but it's also free, and you can play this game. You can play a solid D&D game for free to level 6, easy.
Yeah, absolutely.
Really easy, and I just want to point that out.
That world that I've been making for my one shot.
Yeah.
Nothing in there that is not in Warforged, right?
Right.
I took one race that you could buy for $2.99.
Yes.
If you just really wanted to throw it in there, but you wouldn't have to have that either. You could just use human stats and make them able to breathe in space. But nothing else in there that is not essential. Basic rules.
Well, even with this, I mean, you could go, you know what? We're just going to have humans until I get this figured out.
Right. Well, and like we talked about when we first made it, if you want to take, let's say you have spent a little bit of money, not a lot, but a little bit.
Yeah.
And you want to go, hey, instead of elves on Undir, I want drow. I want dark elves. So I spent $2.99 to get dark elves, on D&D Beyond. Or instead of halflings on Undir, I want goblins.
Yes.
You could do that, know?
Yes.
But you don't have to.
No.
And that's the best part about this world that we're making, in my opinion, is as much fun as it is to make. You can do whatever you want with it. If you want to replace the humans with tieflings, you can do that.
Yeah,
it
absolutely.
Matter.
Yeah. Absolutely. You can replace it with anything. Yeah, anything. It'll work easy, free. And I promise you can have. There's unlimited adventures you can have.
Yeah.
With everything free, and just what we got here, you can have unlimited adventures. I mean, you kind of heard us go in different directions, talking about different things, but you can change out anything. And like I said, as great a tool as D&D Beyond is free, a couple bucks here, $10 here on a section.
Yeah.
And let's get with you. It's
get you a lot of stuff.
That just one race.
Yeah. I mean, opens up so many options.
It does,
I recommend that, by the way, honestly. If you wanted the elves for Undir, I recommend replacing them with drow.
Yeah.
If I could, within the confines of the rules we provided for ourselves, they would be drow.
Right.
But
and the I would make the Sidian dwarves the Snurfneflin.
Yeah, Snurfneblin.
Snurfneblin, thank you. The
Yeah.
And
for sure.
That stuff, that's options you have. Yeah. And look, if you go spend that $1.99 to do that, then later on, if you want to buy that book, that $1, and look, we're not sponsored by D&D Beyond.
Yeah, we're not.
I did not like it when full transparency here. Yeah. I did not like it when it came. I thought it was a waste.
I did too. Why buy the books again? I already have them.
Exactly. Yeah. And I didn't understand, but that I didn't understand what it was used for.
Right.
And it has, and they've changed. They've come a long way. Yeah. They've added stuff, and yes, they're free program to get in, and just you've got adventures on there, man, that are free
for sure. And like Rungren said, we're not sponsored by them, but I use it personally. It's a thing that I use all the time.
Every one of my players, everyone at both sessions, every one of my players has got a character on there just because it's easy for me to look at.
It's really funny to me that I've had to go back to using paper because we do this podcast and my phone is on the free account.
Yeah. Yeah.
It is endlessly enjoyable to me that I'm using paper again for that reason. Because I had stopped using it,
Yeah. I'm going to do a video one day pointing out how to do your character sheet on notebook paper.
Yeah.
How to line it up.
Yeah.
Because that's one thing that really hasn't changed. You still kind of did the same way I would have in junior high.
Absolutely.
Or high school. That's not a bad idea. We're closing in on an hour.
Yeah.
And another thing about full transparency, both had a really long day.
Yes.
So we're probably going to wrap this up around here.
And we're also at a point where I think if we try to go further into cultures, it's going to spiral.
Yeah.
Because we gotta touch on the humans cultures, we gotta touch on the elf cultures, the halfling cultures, and we gotta talk about the wizard schools too. What's the culture like at the school,
Yeah.
And I feel like once we get into the first one of those, it's gonna affect all the others,
Well, I think maybe when we come back and do this again, maybe we start with the wizard school.
Yeah, I think so too.
Build from the head down.
Yeah, I agree.
Because we kind of got an idea about the halflings, we kind of got about that, and I think we can build that culture across it.
Yeah, and I think the elves are going to take a while.
I think so too.
Because that's a complicated culture that we got to put together there. Like, why are they separate to begin with? And what happened there? Because that race is normally very close knit. It
is. But they're also immortal, and old grudges.
Yep, and that's what I was going to bring up. Yeah. I don't mean to borrow too much from next week's episode, but. The separation of the high elves and the wood elves is like the go-to, right?
Oh, yeah.
That we see in Forgotten Realms.
Yeah.
Of, hey, that happened millions of years ago, and we're still not over it.
Right, yes. Right, yeah. But, that's a weird thing going with the elves, because you always end up with an immortal creature that's going to be the longest. Usually in the world, they're the firstborn.
Yeah.
They're the first sentient type creature. Usually, not all the time, but usually they are in all the fantasy you'll read. So yeah, it's usually a little bit deeper going in with the elves. You're going to we're going to stick a little bit to kind of traditional like fantasy world stereotypes in this with halflings because it makes it easier.
It does
to go, and look, we can't lay out everything we're stealing from, right? Because I promise you, I can't even tell you what I'm stealing from.
It'd be a whole podcast if we tried, and we still wouldn't cover it all.
It's like as we talk about as we're going to talk about stuff, or if we have a trickster god, I'm going to pull from Loki and Nasi, the coyote, the jackal,
the jackal,
and things like that. What's the Japanese the laughing
the kitsune?
I think so.
The yokai that's the fox spirit?
Yes.
Yeah, the kitsune.
Yeah. It's like
Hagoromo Kitsune.
It's not like a great thing to see. Like if you can't, I can't remember the exact mythology. He would know better than I. But yeah, so I'll try to tell you if I recognize or stuff, I will tell you where I get it from. But a lot of stuff I'm just not going to know.
Right. Well, and a quick aside too, since we're talking about mythology, and I'm a huge mythology nerd.
Yeah.
If you want to homebrew some monsters, that's where you need to look to get inspiration.
Oh yeah.
Mythology is full of them.
And look, when we're saying mythology, we're not talking. I know some people already went Greek mythology. That's right. Especially in the Western world.
mythology.
That is a mythology. It's a dang good one today.
Oh yeah.
We use that one. The
There's
Romans
about
did
45 more.
Yeah, about 45. Well, you've got like the Olmec culture.
Yeah. Absolutely.
You can pull from that where you got the Aztecs and the Mayans that come later.
The first time that you look up Huitzilopochtli, you will go
the serpent.
Oh,
yeah. You got the Olmec culture, and just, oh my gosh.
Well, and you get into the native tribes up north, right?
Oh, like Pueblo, and the like the Apache, the nomad culture.
Oh, I mean even further north than that. But yes, there's some great stuff there too.
Eskimo, Inuit,
the Inuits.
Yeah,
and there's like the Wendigo is the one people know. Right,
well,
but there's so many more.
They're true, and I tell you what, look at some of the myths of Siberia.
Yeah,
you can go anywhere in the world and learn about a little bit of their fiction, a little bit of their culture, and it'll feed it.
They have a land shark that has the body of a polar bear. It's incredible.
Yes.
God. I firmly believe that's where the Boulet comes from.
Yeah. Well, most of the time, and I can say this about most countries, right? I do believe that, but politics aside, I love people. As crappy as we can be to each other and everything else. Like just when you take a step back and look at the culture of the world and some of the stories we have, and use some of the universal stories. Yeah,
absolutely.
If you're, you can. If you want to run a vampire, if you want to run like a vampire, Van Helsing vampire, but you don't want to use look up vampire in any other culture because every culture has some kind of story.
So many cool ones.
The Japanese,
the Japanese vampire is so cool.
It looks different from ours. It's covered in green hair, fine green hair, as a floating head. Mm-hmm. It has the guts hanging down. Is that correct? Yeah, going through that. So that's one. There's a few different ones. Depending on
Mexican vampire is actually really cool.
Mexican vampire, depending on the throughout Africa, there's different vampire stories that get really weird.
Oh yeah,
to that, but some of them almost follow in a weird way that like what you would think of the traditional Dracula story. On that, India's got its own type of vampire. It's all that's just vampires.
Yes,
and that can change your story, so you're not doing. So I don't know we're way off topic.
I'm sorry.
Not at all.
Because I was going to mention too creepypastas as well. The internet now is churning out monsters. Absolutely. And I don't know if you've heard of the creepypasta, and I don't mean to drag us fully down this road.
But we've done the hour of On Our World, so we can ramble. So.
The creepypasta for Siren Head.
Oh, yeah.
It's like, that is an incredible monster right there. If you don't want to have technology with a siren, replace that with something else. Lantern Head.
Well, you could still do Siren Head. Yeah. Because I kind of want to do this world.
Right.
You just, you have a post-apocalyptic world. You know what? Guns are gone. Nobody has them.
Yeah.
There's no more gas or anything. It's way, way, way later.
Yeah.
So a piece of metal post brought up, sharpened on one end becomes this, you can do that. And Siren Head would be a great monster in that world.
Oh, yeah.
It's perfect for it. It's a Fallout 4 world or whatever it is, or, that kind of a post-apocalyptic thing.
And again, I mean, if you just really want to mess yourself up, go with Lovecraft monsters for inspiration.
Yeah.
No joke, when we talk about the stuff at the feet, I have some plans from the stuff that has come in from outside the plane.
I got you.
From the edge, crawled up between the toes. Like Grommel.
There's got to be some connection, right?
Yeah.
Because there's got to be something that powers this thing, something that connects it through the planes.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Because the pod will remain.
Yep.
All right, look,
we got to stop.
We do. Once again, like if you have any ideas or anything, please,
or questions.
Any questions or anything you want us to talk about. You know, we'll take a week off from this to talk about anything that you would like us to. If you have questions about anything else or just want some ideas, give us a comment below.
Absolutely.
Let us know, and we'll try to get back to you.
Your word to prove that you've been listening is the Lost God.
That's a good one. I'm good with that. The Lost God. Amenities. Yeah.
I'm still stuck on that image of the blade coming through the shield. The brothers back to back. Oh, I love it. I'm
going to have to do some sketches. I'm not a very good artist, man. I have to do some sketches on this. Just get some.
It's so evocative.
It is. Through that. And I like the, with the hands there. It's the same concept, right?
Right.
Going through that. He was trying to stop the blade. Ugh.
But let us know.
Yeah.
In the comment section down below.
I'll do that. I'll try to think of anything added to. We'll be back next week. We'll finish that with that.
Yeah. We're going to miss a week.
Oh, okay.
Unless we record another one early, which will depend on how that works out.
Yeah.
We're going to miss a week for us, it'll be the start of next month.
Okay.
But we will miss a week there unless we're able to work something out, which we'll see.
Yeah. We'll try to work it. We'll see what we can work in. If you enjoy video games and like to hear news, stuff about that, you can catch the Twitch stream.
We've got some fun stuff to talk about Tuesday.
Yeah.
There's already been a fighting game company, an esports company, that said, hey, you need to ban this character in Tekken 7 because our player doesn't know the matchup.
What?
Yeah, we're going to talk about it. So look forward to Tuesday's podcast.
Yeah. That's at 7 on Twitch.
Yep, 7 CT.
Yeah, 7 Central, thank you. On Twitch, the full spectrum. Mm-hmm. Which you'll have a couple shows, or at least one show you'll be hosting here in a few.
Yeah.
Here in a couple of months as well.
Yeah, Game Awards coming up.
Oh, yeah. You're going to put all that through, yes.
Yeah.
All right. Oh, and look, if you have any questions or anything, or you'd like to get a little more in-depth in discussion, there is a Discord.
Yeah.
You can, it's $1 a month on the Patreon. And lots of topics.
It's a busy server.
It is. And there's lots of different topics. He's trying to get he's trying to get his game going on that. The
Balan Wonderworld thing, and then the D&D. We got a lot going on.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be. I guess I should mention this here since it's part for the channel. We have now set up where when I'm recording something big, I can record it live for the Discord, and they can watch. You won't be able to talk, but you can watch.
Okay.
And you get the full uncut video before I edit it. It goes up to YouTube. And the first one of those that I'm going to be doing solo is I'm going to be playing Balan Wonderworld, which is one of the worst games I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Until I can't play it anymore. Yeah. And then we got a D&D one-shot coming up on there for the people up there. If it winds up being popular, or if you're listening to this and you're like, I want Trey to DM for me, or I want Rungren to DM for me, then, hey, just get on that Discord. Talk to us.
Yeah. And there'll be, like I said, it's something trying to get going and trying to get, we're working out the logistics of it on our side, because if we do it, especially if we set something up to where it's like, okay, we can do this more often.
Yeah.
Not only do we want make sure that the people there, but we do want to offer a quality product.
Yeah, absolutely.
That and make sure everybody's on the same page.
Absolutely. I have gotten to the point now where, and this is nothing against my players, scheduling's the death of all campaigns, right?
True.
But I've gotten to the point now where I am writing, and this is where I know I've gone too far, I'm writing short stories for NPCs in my world for this one shot.
Yeah.
Rungren, I like a lot of those NPCs, and the players are never going to beat them.
I understand. Actually, picking up in a weird way, picking up a second campaign.
Yeah.
To run was kind of a blessing.
Yeah.
Because it let me step back from the first one a little bit.
Right.
And so I can more worried about, instead of getting so detailed.
Yeah.
With it, I can step back and I'll have my scenes and my idea. And it's like, okay.
Right.
Actually, it's a little bit relieving because y'all kind of run more than y'all think y'all do.
Right.
Direct more than I think I do. But it's cool. It's fun.
Yeah,
I like D&D.
D&D's great.
D&D's great. It is. You will hear, and like you guys do is we're going to gripe about it. Mm-hmm. We're going to talk. We're going to point out all the stuff we don't like about it, the stuff we love about it. And you'll hear me gripe about bards.
At some point, we'll dip into some other systems too and compare.
Yeah.
D&D is still my favorite, even though I recognize a lot of the flaws it's got.
5e, and we talked about the first or second podcast we do. Is just as far as tabletop role playing games go, I do believe I can't think of anything any more accessible,
right?
That has any name recognition behind it. If I'm sure there is, but like I said, I can't think of anything off the top of my head.
Yeah,
as far as role playing games,
if you got a setting that you like more, system, let us know. We'll look into it.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, if you find a system that you've never heard of, you just come across it. Yeah, I'll look it up.
I've been told so much about Rifts, but there's so much to look through there.
Rifts is a good game. I like Rifts. Rifts is just super, super powered. Yeah. And you have to remember that when you're going in. Yeah. It's like, because you get to put all these great numbers down on your thing, and there's a lot of numbers to put down on the Palladium system for Rifts on that. When you get up there and you've got all this stuff, and then your game master, your GM, and that comes up, and you're like, dude, I got all this stuff. And, after a couple of shots, you're like, I need to run. It's just, it's a super... It's a max out. It's a super powered world, and that's what makes it fun. I think it'd be hard to get into as a beginner. Yeah. Going into, there's other Palladium systems I would go through first. Yeah. It's just the generic one, or whatever, so they understand the numbers. Yeah. Going through, and then Rift starts to make a lot more sense, and it's a really cool world. Yeah. It is hard to play with, though.
I was going to introduce a new segment to this podcast if you were all right with it, and I didn't talk to you about it beforehand. But I wanted to want to plug something. Okay. I want to plug a D&D Twitch streamer. Okay. Because maybe you have listened to all of our podcasts because you're a fan of us, and you love what we're talking about, but you still never played. You don't have a group. You don't have a DM. And you don't know if you're going to get to play. So none of this really means anything.
Right.
But you think it's fun. You're glad we get excited. Go check out Arcadum on Twitch. I've talked about him a couple times on the regular podcast. He does campaigns that are focused on the play. Okay. Even though people are messing around having a good time, there's no face cams, there's no webcams. Right. It's just the game. And so if you just want to see D&D be played without having to go into a bunch of background to try and understand everything. He runs 9 different campaigns. Some of them are sequels to others, but all of them are designed where you can just pick them up and start from there. You may not understand everything, but you don't have to go back to the beginning and work your way forward. Right. You can just start and be good to go. I think
Stranger in a Strange Land is always fun to play.
Yeah, absolutely.
You can do that.
And I think that as cool and as much as I love Critical Role, because I do. I love XP to level 3's campaigns. Yeah. Matt Coville's stuff is really cool. It can be tough.
Okay, now XP level 3, he's a younger guy. Yeah. But even that, with just those 3 names you do, I was just like, okay, DM experience there.
Yeah, for sure.
Years-wise.
For sure.
You probably got 80.
Yeah. It's nuts how skilled those 3 guys are. Yeah.
And here's the funny thing. Go watch all those guys because you're going to get different tips from all of them.
Absolutely.
And they 100%. approach it differently.
100%. And none of them are wrong in the way they approach it.
No, none of them are wrong in the way they approach it. And I tell you what, a lot of it has to do, and this is this little thing that gets forgotten about. It's so simple. Every one of those guys know their table.
Yeah, absolutely.
They talk to their players. They let their players know what game they're playing. And
that's
we're not talking about D&D. We're talking about how it's going to be.
Right, how everything works. And that's one reason why I want to plug Arcadum stuff. Because again, I think Arcadum's a great DM. This is nothing against him. But I think that when you compare him to those 3, it's like, wow, those 3 are the best of the best right now. Yeah. But Arcadum's players...
It's a different game, right?
Right. And almost all of them are new.
Yeah.
In each campaign. So if you're a new player, when you go to watch XP to level 3 or Matt Coville or Critical Role, they're not going to explain a bunch of stuff because they've been playing together.
Okay, this is the thing. And I'm actually thinking about starting a channel on this because I learn a lot from you. This is the age of information, right? Right. You double check your sources, double cross them.
Yeah, absolutely.
Double check, whatever, right? I find when a lot of people are doing this, we've talked about this before.
Yeah.
the people that have been doing it for a long time, the greatest of us.
Yeah.
And I don't care what it is, guitar, D&D, Rubik's Cube, they forget what it's like to suck.
That's right.
And it's not their fault.
Right.
You know,
they've just been doing it long enough. They don't remember.
Nature. It is. It's second nature. And those people can make things seem intimidating.
Yes.
I still suck as a DM. So I could level this off. We're on the same page if you're starting out.
So if you want to see new players learning, his streams are a great way to do it.
I think it's a really good plug, man.
And especially because he doesn't just go, hey, and this is nothing against random people on the street, but he doesn't just go, hey, random people on the street, and he doesn't just go, hey, my players that have been playing with me forever. Yeah. He goes, hey, this popular Twitch streamer that people already like, do you want to play D&D? Nice. And so then he has games full of different streamers or YouTubers, and you can go, well, I really like Kraken. I really like Tomato and Lawman, so I can go watch them play D&D for the first time, you know?
That's a cool idea. I think that's a really good plug, just because it's a different level of play. Yeah. You know, and I think that's awesome.
And then go back and watch the others.
Right.
Because you got some great stuff waiting for you.
I got to go back. I need to go watch Jeff Goldblum play.
Yeah.
I really need to see that. Because apparently he kicked butt. I don't know. I didn't get to watch it.
I think when it comes to the all-time greats, and I know we need to end, but I think when it comes to the all-time greats, for me, what is it, episode 35 of The Chain, Matt Colville's campaign?
Yeah.
And the very end of the first campaign of Critical Role are two of the, like, when I think of D&D, that's what I think of, you know? Other people's games. Those moments are incredible.
I've got another plug. It's the Dungeon Dudes.
Yeah.
If a lot of times their videos aren't very long,
right?
But they seem to do a good job of covering basic stuff.
Yeah, absolutely.
That you may not, in a way, you may not think about it.
Yeah,
and just somebody throw it on your list. I'd like to plug them Dungeon Dudes
for sure
because I enjoy the way that they look at the game.
Yeah, and it helps that their conversations are just conversations.
Yes, yeah,
you know?
It's kind of like art. You know, it's two friends. They're, I think they'll be a little bit shorter. They're a little more organized,
right?
Whatever. But for doing what they do, they kind of keep it. Like I said, if they may have five cantrips you're not thinking about, things like that. And instead of it being just telling you about, they're going to have a little bit of discussion about it.
Absolutely.
And I like that. That was a couple of good plugs, I think.
For sure.
To see some play in action, and then to hear, for a couple of the guys to go listen to that got a view on simple, keeping D&D simple and basic in a good way. Because
it'll always be there when you want to get complicated.
Yeah.
Like, there are so many good channels for complicated D&D.
Oh, yeah.
But first, you got to get your foot on the door.
And like, even little, like, what is it, WASD 20?
Yeah.
That's, he talks a lot of stuff in D&D, but he covers maps.
Yeah, for sure.
You know, and you can get pretty deep with that, and he does.
Another one I just thought about, and again, I know we got to stop, but another one I just thought about for new players, Jenny D.
Oh, I love her.
Her role play stuff.
Her. Yes.
It's basically just, hey, it's okay if you don't know how to role play. Here's the situation I'm giving you. You're all by yourself.
Yeah.
Nobody's watching. I can't even hear you to grade you on it.
Right.
Let's just role play.
Well, here's something else, okay? And because she will do a thing like, here's 50 D&D jokes.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, you may not get all these jokes going through there, but I promise you that will open doors into stuff the way the D&D world is.
For sure.
And it's going on more than you would think.
Yeah.
And so there'll be like different, of course she's going to play up stereotypes of the bard and all that. But her channel of the little stories and like the jokes, her
100%.
jokes, just because it gives you the idea of the feel for the world. I thought about
one of the jokes and was trying really hard not to laugh.
Oh, man.
The bar laughed. We killed the bar. But yeah, I mean, just again, if you're a new player, that's what we wanted to start this for. As we go through the podcast episodes, we will get more complex as well.
Oh, yeah.
Because, again, at any point we can go, oh, you're new? No problem. We got a backlog.
Yeah.
You just start listening, work your way forward.
Well, yeah, at some point, even though that everything, like I said, you can go 1 to 6 and have unlimited adventures over and over and over again. Yeah, at some point, we're going to kind of have covered the basic stuff, and we'll take a more advanced stuff.
Well, and my hope is, like, if you're a new player and you want to watch, like, Arcadum, or you want to watch Critical Role, you can't do that while you're driving. You can't do that while you're on the bus. You can't do that while you're on a plane. Or, like, if you can, but you got to have your earbuds in, you know?
Yeah.
But, like, a podcast like this, you don't have to see.
Right.
Even if we later on do get video or anything like that, you don't have to watch it. You know, you can just listen to it.
Exactly.
And so if you're on your run, you're exercising, you're driving, you can listen to this and be able to get some of the basics that you wouldn't get otherwise.
Right. And if you're like me, sometimes I'll throw like as we're getting close, if I've got to run a campaign like Sunday morning, I start throwing YouTubers on.
Yeah, to start getting in that mindset.
Right. Just have it going in the background, listen to them. Everything from Puffin Forest to Genie D to Dungeon Dudes, the Nerdarchy.
Yeah.
Anybody I can pick up.
Yeah.
Big names, little names, and things like that. Yeah, because it helps. It helps you kind of get set.
Yeah.
I'll do that. All right, man. I think it's time. I think you need to lead us
close it off.
Yeah.
With all that said, then, I have been Trey.
I have been Rungren.
We've been the Full Spectrum D&D podcast. And remember to always enjoy the full spectrum that D&D has to offer.